Hey, what's up, guys? I wanted to do a little update today and let you guys know how things have been going for the last month. I think that's about roughly how long it's been since I made a video. And the reason for that is just it's been a really hectic month, a lot of work stuff, company in town. But now I have some time to make a video. So I think in my last video, I mentioned that, there were still some slip ups happening occasionally, and there were a couple more after the video as well, but it's been about 2 weeks since I slipped up, and I think that I finally got things dialed in and finally understand what I need to do to break this. And there have been a few key things that I've been doing differently this time around that I think are really important, so I wanted to share them. The first one's about caffeine. So I've mentioned having a caffeine problem several times in the past, but for me it's been a really known trigger for a while. And the hard thing though is that I do really like to have just a little bit. And usually if I have just a little bit, it doesn't really cause a problem. It's when I have like coffee or something like that. It just gets me too wired and makes my brain go a little bit haywire. But I found sort of a solution to that. And what I do is, if I really, really crave a cup of coffee, I just get decaf instead. So decaf basically has like no caffeine. It has like very small trace amounts. But sometimes if I'm feeling really tired, it's almost like a placebo effect where it still kind of like feels like it's waking me up, but there's actually not like a chemical reaction the way there is with like a normal cup of coffee. And I always strayed away from decaf for the longest time because I was like, oh, I still want to have like a slight boost, even if it's just a small bit. So I'd have like green tea or something like that. And sometimes that would work fine. Sometimes it would wake me up too much and have the same effect. But the decaf is really nice because the way it works with me is that it kind of fools my system into thinking that I'm having coffee, and I feel like I'm waking up a little bit in the afternoon or whatever, but it doesn't actually cause that same like mental panic that coffee causes sometimes. And so that's one thing that's really been helping a lot. Like I'll just have one small like mug of tea in the morning, wakes me up a tiny bit, but not too much. And then if I'm really feeling crazy, I'll have the decaf. For me, that's the perfect amount because it does not overwhelm my mind, doesn't cause me sleep problems or anything like that. Number two, second thing that's been helping a lot is making sure I'm getting good sleep. Sleep can be a real problem. If you're not getting good sleep, it makes it twice as hard to avoid triggers and make smart decisions. So I've been going to bed earlier. And this is one thing that was hard for me is that, my girlfriend works a pretty late night job. So a lot of times I would wait up late for her and then have to wake up early the next morning for my work stuff. And I've realized that that's just not a smart way to do it because you can't bend your schedule for someone else's schedule, even if you do really want to be with them. You can make time for people, obviously, but it's not good to sacrifice sleep. So what I've started doing is just going to sleep earlier on my own. I have a fan going and I put a mask on, so even if she gets home late and a light's turned on or something, like, it doesn't really wake me up. And getting better sleep has made a big difference in how I feel from a day to day, and it makes a big difference in being able to just kind of notice when I'm not doing what I'm supposed to. Like if I start scrolling on social media, I snap back to I snap out of it a lot faster than I would have before, I think. But that's another thing, like, still been trying to limit social media use. Every once in a while I'll kind of catch myself like scrolling on it for a second. Like that even happened today, for instance, and I had to just really just immediately say, whoa, what am I doing? And just get off of it and do something else. So a lot of this stuff you already know, but replacing the old habits with good habits. But I'm trying to be even more extreme about it this time. Like I would replace like some of my main habits with good habits last time, or the last however many times, but now I'm actually like, even if I have like small gaps of time where like I'm just kind of sitting there idle for a second, I'll try to like replace it with going for a walk or picking up a book and just reading it for a minute or two. Because even those like small windows of time are important. And when you replace bad habits with good habits, I think it's important that like you don't just like do that here and there. Like you really try to do it as frequently as you can. So that's been helpful. Been journaling every day that I am able to, that is, and that really helps. I just kind of write like 3 pages or so every day, and it seems to get the job done. And what else? I try to interact with more people about it, like interacting with online communities, and I think it's important to find one that is like a real good support system for you, and one that makes sense for like what you're trying to do. And I do think like checking in and being held accountable is important, but I don't think, for me, I thought making YouTube videos alone was like the solution for a while, but I think that I needed more, which is why I'm still making the YouTube videos, but now I'm like also journaling and checking in kind of like with myself that way, and checking in with online communities that I'm in. And that, I think there's something about that feeling of like you're with a group of people and everybody's kind of like all trying to do the same thing, that makes it a little bit more manageable, I guess, because you're not like just in your own head. Like you can actually get these thoughts out and like discuss it with people who have been through what you're going through. And anyway, those things have been really important this time around. So that's basically it though. Oh, and I guess like trying to get better. I mean, this all kind of goes into the good habits thing, but just trying to exercise more frequently, and just get into like better health habits.